respond right now because of the condition of the hurricane.
Evacuation orders are a serious matter. It means local officials think your life could be in danger. You need to listen to them. This hurricane season, get a plan. Go to floridadisaster.org and get your plan today.
This message is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Talk here. Talk there. Talk 1470 AM and 95.3 FM, the Health and Wealth Radio Network. WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
AMP2.TV presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on AMP2.TV. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Hi, welcome to Tell Us Your Business. I'm your host, Karen Turk, and I'm here today with somebody very special. I'm here with Michael from the Our Rock Project. Welcome, Michael.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
It's absolutely amazing what you're doing here in our local community, and I can't wait to share it with our audience. You're doing a nonprofit venture right here in Palm Beach County, correct?
Yes, we're located right in Boca.
And you're a local guy who had a dream and had a vision and kind of made your way to Florida, as many of us do. And now you're involved in this amazing venture that's helping kids and helping them produce movies and documentaries.
Yes, that's what we do every day.
That's amazing. So tell me a little bit about Our Rock Project and how it started for you.
It started in a classroom when I was getting my MFA in Science and Natural History Film. I discussing it with the classmates, first person, second person film structures, and just happened to come up with the idea that kids have phones. Internet's connecting everybody. Why not let the kids of the world tell their own stories instead of having documentary filmmakers travel from one country to another? Let the kids tell their own stories and share it with other kids all around the world. And that's where the idea was born from.
It's amazing. And being a mom and having kids and sharing this with other moms, including my friend Molly, who we're going to do some stuff together to spread the message of Our Rock Project. You know, what struck me as a parent is I'm raising millennial kids and kids of this new generation of technology. And one of the things that all of our kids are doing, my middle school son included, is making movies.
Sure.
This is how they consume. This is the new world. This is how these kids learn. And this brings it to the classroom in a curriculum, correct?
Yes, it's basically within the school systems. If you're in high school, you could probably get through a film production of this size, 4 to 10 minutes long, in a semester. But for middle schools, it's usually an annual project. They start in the fall when they first get to class, and then they complete it just at the end of the second term.
And you're approved by the Palm Beach County School Board.
Yes, we're approved by Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade. We've been working with the school, Eastern Middle School in Silver Spring, Maryland, up in Montgomery County, a Magna program up there for the last 4 years, and have over 200 films, all produced by 6th, 7th, and 8th graders.
The films are really cool. Tell everybody how they can get on your website.
You can just go to ourrockproject.org, and there's no need to sign in. There's no fees. It's completely free. We allow anybody to participate that wants to. And all we ask is you follow our guidelines, and we have helpful how-to videos that we produced, a whole series, that help walk the kids and the teachers through the steps needed to make a short documentary film.
And I think beyond the classroom, too, again, from a parental standpoint, you know, it's really great that now kids can look at movies and things. You know, my son's on YouTube, looking at videos on YouTube and finding people to relate to. Here's a library of his peers in an educational way that's really showing how each of these kids live. And it goes far beyond the socioeconomic environment that my son's growing up on and out into the community, into a very diverse look into different worlds and really even beyond our country into an international community.
That's the long-term goal of the IROC project, is to get tens of thousands of films from all over the world and have kids teach other kids what it's like to live there. Where does their water come from? What kind of food what kind of flora and fauna do they have there? What kind of social issues are confronting those kids no matter where they live? And then share those stories. And eventually, historically speaking, 40, 50 years from now, they can look back into the library and research how has life changed in a specific region of the world by just viewing the kids' stories. Because kids are very honest.
So it's like a time capsule, too.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
You know, you don't think about that in the digital environment. You know, now everything's available digitally. I mean, even like you can look back at your ancestry and things that traditionally were on paper. Imagine what it's going to be like 20 years from now. Everything's digital content.
Exactly. And that's what we're trying to build this library for, that exact purpose, to make a difference in the world. I think that the kids having an opportunity to get to know each other breeds an opportunity for them to build a little more acceptance and understanding, and eventually be able to work together to solve the big problems and make the world a better place for everybody. And that's really at the heart of the IROC project.
I'm blown away watching some of these movies today in preparation for our show. And I watched the one about the bees, and I watched one about people living below the poverty line in Washington, D.C. And they were both so different and so unique and so well done. When we walked in here, are both of those movies done by a sixth, seventh, or eighth grader, a middle schooler?
Yes.
Wow.
They do them all by themselves. The kids conceive of the topic that they want to do. They do research independently. They find their own interview subject that the professional they'd like to talk to that works in that field. They come back, they write their own voiceover script, edit, produce, and put the whole thing together.
I just was so blown away by the amount of skill and just how professional these films looked, and you know how sometimes I feel like my kids are ahead of me in technology in a lot of ways, and I really kind of grew up with it. You know, we were on the edge of that.
Yes.
But it's a whole new generation. It's amazing what these kids are doing and what they're able to put together with little guidance.
Exactly, and they can do it. A lot of the kids have done it, the whole production, just on their cell phone with a little microphone and a cell phone. And they don't need a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
Pretty much every computer comes with some video editing software on it now, and they can edit right away wherever they are. So it's nice to see them be able to use that technology in a constructive way to make a difference in the world. Because a lot of kids have told me how cathartic it is for them to go through some of the filmmaking processes and talk to the professionals.
Right.
Especially when it comes to bullying, teen depression and suicide, school shootings. They feel like they're making a difference in being able to share something out with the rest of the world.
Right.
That matters, and they also get to talk to psychologists and sociologists.
I mean, these kids are tackling tough topics on top of really educational, more social projects right in their community. And, you know, when I read the paragraph, I really didn't see the depth of the subject matter that these kids were going to delve into. When you first explained it to me, because I know it's part of a STEAM curriculum, to me, STEAM curriculum means a lot of science and technology, and I think about the flora and the fauna and the local community and the beehives. And I didn't think about some of the deeper topics. And it was very interesting to see these kids explore this. You know, how can some of our viewers that are watching this now, and we are taking calls if you want to call in and if you have questions for Michael, because we are here in the local community, I would love to ask you too, how can a child, let's say somebody logs onto your website after this show and the child says, you know, I want to do this, Mom and Dad. What can those parents do to bring it into their school? Is there something that they can do to facilitate that?
Well, the best thing they could do is talk to their teacher and their principals, see if they could get the classroom involved in the project. But we also welcome youth groups. I've offered and will participate with any youth group, any classroom that needs help. I have an MFA in Science and Natural History Film, so I'm fully capable of going in and walking them through and hand-holding the whole process.
That's
so
amazing. So if you had a church group or a youth group that wanted to get together and do a documentary filmmaking project, they could actually get in touch with you and you would come to their school here in our local area and teach them?
Oh, yes, in a heartbeat.
I guarantee somebody's going to take you up on that because that's an unbelievable opportunity.
Well, I find it exciting and fun to watch the kids go through that process, the research and the discovery process, and then helping them pull it all together and put a short film together. That is just fantastic. I love working with the kids when I can. And I'm always blown away with what they come up with and what they produced.
That's amazing. Yeah, I have some ideas. I'm going to network with you. I have some people I'm going to connect you with because I think that's an unbelievable opportunity for a group or an educational group or a summer camp or somewhere where they could implement this as part of the curriculum. You know, give us a call. Let him know. He'll come out to the school. We'll educate you. We teach the more people who find out about it, the more classrooms this is going to be in. That's the goal, right?
Yes, we'd like to get as many classrooms participating and give this opportunity to the kids because I think no matter what field they go in later in life, there's going to be a time that they're going to need to be able to organize their thoughts and confer information to their peers in some form or fashion. And that's all the filmmaking process is sharing information, researching, studying a subject, and then being able to tell that story and entertain yet inform somebody at the same time because that's the way you get the promotions and move forward in life no matter what career you're in. And I think it's exciting for them because I think they discover a lot about themselves through the process.
And you review all of these movies. I know you and I have talked before about, you know, you receive movies and you will sometimes have to critique these movies and send them back and maybe have something changed, and that's okay. But you actually work with the students and the schools to make sure that the content that you're putting on the website obviously is safeguarded and is accurate information.
Yeah, we have a very simple set of guidelines. You know, obey all copyright law, be factual and truthful in what you're saying, and if you interview somebody, represent them in the manner that they would like to be shown in. In other words, be respectful to the person, the professional that you're interviewing. I should mention something.
And I'm sure these kids probably, you know, there's a huge opportunity for these kids to get some good interviews because I know, you know, I got involved in this project with you because I'm involved in TV and film and radio. But, you know, there's a whole other layer to it when you look at science, technology, all these things that go beyond that surface. And I just think it's so cool that it brings all those areas together in a way that's really creative and fun. So just like I was attractive in getting involved because of the TV and radio side, I think a lot of kids, too, will learn without the curriculum being pushed on them because it's something that's fun and creative.
Well, that's what I tell the kids when I go meet with them. This is your first opportunity to actually choose a topic on a subject that interests you, no matter what it is. We had a couple little girls that love the theater. So they went back and gave a behind-the-scenes tour of what goes on in the theater.
Oh, I missed this one. I got to watch this one.
Wig making, everything else that goes on behind the scenes. And I said, fine, it's what interests you. The first year I kind of asked all the kids to do water. The next year was food. And the kids actually in their feedback to me said, we loved the project. We learned a lot. It was a lot of fun. But we have stories we want to tell. Would you mind if we picked our own topics? So I discussed it with their teacher, Ned McFadden, up in Washington, D.C., and he said, I'm okay if you're okay. And I said, go for it. And then it just opened the floodgates, and it just came from soup to nuts. And
well, this entire
awesome.
thing has blossomed in a pretty short period of time for you, too. How long have you been working on this?
Since its first year, 3.5 years.
Yeah. It's amazing.
4
I mean, to
years
look at
since
the
we've had the
content you
website.
have and, you know, realizing that the kids are working on this, you know, during the school year and that you started, you know, right outside of Washington, D.C. I know your whole history. It's amazing to me to see it blossom now into what it is and have, you know, it be an approved curriculum for Palm Beach County schools is huge.
It was actually easier than I thought it was, just presenting it to them. And the fact that...
Because it's so great. Because it's such a great idea.
We had one meeting, presented it to them, and they said, how much does it cost? And I said, nothing. It's free. Whether you're homeschooled in a youth group or whether you're in a classroom, please tell us a story. I'll share it. I vet every film to make sure the library stays along the guidelines, but tell me your story. I would love to see it and share it.
And I think it's great too that, even on your website, again, as a parent, if my child comes home and says, I'm working on this project, one of the questions that I always have is there's always like something lost in translation. It's always like, well, I'm not sure, what size poster board or what to do, or what needs to be purchased for this. You go on your website, not only do the kids already have the equipment because they're on their phones all day, but it's step 1, step 2, steps 3, step 4. So I'm able to log in and actually work with my child on this project from start to finish. And I'm going to have very clear guidelines. I mean, it's simple. I mean, I was amazed when I went in. I'm like, this is very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, it's just simple for a parent to understand. There's nothing complicated about this. And I think that's why, it really is something that's going to speak to these children, is it's really something that makes it fun.
Yeah, and the kids really do have fun. It's overwhelming at first when they look at the list, but as they start getting into it, and the fact that it's their topic, it's their subject, it's something that matters to them, whether it's being able to interview somebody they want a career in. You want to be an oceanographer? Well, tell me a story about that and go interview one. Go visit their laboratory and see what's there. See what their life is like. And I tell the kids all the time,
that's a good Florida project.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, somebody's got to do that. One of the kids has to pick up and do that. That would be amazing.
Oh, I'm waiting for that story. I'm looking forward to that. I know it's coming. It's just waiting for it right now.
And what's next for our Rock project? Because I know you have a film festival in the works, and you have an idea about a film festival. I don't know if we can talk about that or whether or not that's something that's come to fruition, but I think that's something very interesting.
Well, we've decided to start rewarding the kids with some recognition, as well as cash awards in the form of scholarship to help them in their careers and studies going further. So we are now open and accepting submissions for the film festival. We'll have 2 brackets, one for middle schools and separate them from the high school, because right now there are no film festivals in North America that focus just on the middle school kids. So we're going to be the first.
I'm shocked to hear that, especially, and that's great that you're going to be on the front lines of this, because I was very surprised to hear that, because again, my son has an interest in filmmaking, and I thought that was something that would have been a given. Like, I just assumed that there's high school ones. I would have assumed that there were for that age group.
No, they always group middle school and high schools together, and I talked to the middle school kids, and they begged me to separate them out, because they felt it was hard to compete with the high school kids.
Well,
so
I don't know.
said no.
Based on those videos I saw, I don't think these middle schoolers have any problem competing with these high schoolers.
They're going to give the high schoolers a run for their money. Yes, very much so.
I'm super impressed. I mean, I just really, I urge everybody to go on this website and look at these videos that these kids have made. It really is unbelievable. It really opens your eyes to just how these kids think, what's going on in their world, what interests them. And they're also doing that for their peers at the same time.
At the same time. That's the beauty of it. They get the initial benefit of going through the exercise of the filmmaking, learning what they learn, and then they get to share that information, and in turn being able to go to the ROC project and watch other kids' films. They learn again. So it's a multi-phase, full circle kind of program that we've designed.
And you encourage them to come up with unique ideas and content, and so the instructors that are, pushing them to do this project and helping them along the way.
Yeah, the teachers, the youth group supervisors, they kind of oversee it, which makes my vetting process a lot easier, because the teachers kind of keep tabs on them of where they're going with their voiceovers and their scripts. But for the most part, as the teachers have told me, they got it. You just got to give them an opportunity and let them go do it, because they really know what they're doing. They do this all the time.
I can't wait to see some of the kids in our local area do these films and capture some behind the scenes. I think it'll be really cool. I actually worked on a project with a school for a TV show down here, and I think I may have shared this with you. It's through G-Star.
Yes.
And they actually ran the production for Insanity Florida, which was a series that I was involved in. And to see these kids get out there and work was to me really awe-inspiring, because you saw that effort that they were willing to put in at such a young age, and you knew that it was kind of setting them up for life because they were having this experience. And I think our Rock project could be that powerful in its curriculum.
I think so too. It allows any child, anywhere they are, to participate. That was one of the things when we first sat down with the board and started putting it all on paper, that we wanted to make sure that we included everybody and gave everybody that opportunity, which is why it's free and doesn't cost anything. You can use our resources for B-roll, for sound bites, for everything we can find that we can give to them to make their jobs easier. We want to help them.
And again, local schools, local teachers that might
Yeah.
be listening, he's right here. He's right here in our backyard. So, you know, if you give us a call and give him a call and get in touch with either the station or Michael through his website, we'll be more than happy to help you along the way. And he's going to come in and even discuss it with your classroom. I mean, what an amazing opportunity, because, you know, other people might not get that chance with you. But are you looking at eventually maybe having instructors in the area teach the kids and kind of guide the program as time goes on? I know I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, regionally we'll have to, especially as we spread out internationally. We'll have to have some representation just so that we can walk the teachers, the principals, the administrators through the process so they feel more comfortable. Because it's a big stretch for a teacher to add this in to their curriculum without really knowing what they're getting into, which is why on our website we try to print out everything so they've got a, like you said, a bullet point
It
list
really
of what
it's
it
very
is.
bullet pointed. It's very simple to follow, you know, easy for anybody to understand regardless of what your background's in. It's not a complicated project and something the kids already love to do.
Well, I think, as I said, you've got to give the kids a chance because they're making little videos and posting them all the time now. And this is just taking one little video and adding a couple more in and then organizing it into a cohesive story and then sharing it. That's all it is. And they already know this. They're doing it every day.
Yeah,
So it's
no,
not
they
a
really
big
are. I mean,
big
that's
ask.
the thing is you have kids in this age group, and that's what struck Molly also when I discussed it with her, and her daughters are the same middle school aged, you know, grades, and we discussed it, and immediately we were both struck. We say our kids do this anyway, and now all of a sudden they have an opportunity to do something educational. It's going to keep them on that website, you know, looking at videos that are made by their peers that are documentaries rather than be on YouTube, you know, looking up the latest and greatest whatever. So, you know, it's a way to get kids involved in a internet way that's productive for them and not necessarily, you know, YouTube.
Yeah, it makes a difference, I think, in the long run, especially if teachers in geography classrooms, social studies classroom, history classrooms start utilizing the library once we get big enough. I think we need a little growth before we get there. But eventually, and when we spread internationally, I think that's the real benefit that will come out of all that.
That's pretty cool. And their homework can be watching videos, which is what they're going to be doing anyway. So now they've got a productive way to do that. If anybody has any questions, you can call in to 888-565-1470. Again, it's 888-565-1470. And we'd love to hear from anybody that would have any questions for the R-Rock project or for Michael.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really glad you were able to make it in. I mean, we've talked about this project so much, and I've been so excited to be able to share it. And I just am so glad that this is something that's really going to blossom. And you're going to be on the Brooklyn Cafe TV this week.
Next Tuesday, yes.
Next Tuesday at 1
and
o'clock.
I'm looking forward to it. That should be fun.
Have you watched the show before?
Yes. I actually saw your Facebook post of the last show, and I had to watch, and then I went back and researched
It's
it.
a very fun show. It's a little bit edgier than this show, but it's a lot of fun. It is PG-13, I think, is probably the level. But we had some dancing. We have a really good time, and we're going to be doing a takeover of the guys and gals of New York. And we're going to be going into different local businesses in Delray and doing some things to really promote. And we're going to bring you in. We're going to bring you in as a nonprofit at some point and do something. So I'm sure that, you know, the guys will talk to you on the show. I don't know that I'll be there Tuesday. I'm hoping I can make it. So I am filming a movie right now. So I'm kind of in the middle of movie world myself. But won't it be great when we can have some of these kids doing these movies here and be able to capture some behind the scenes and spread the message?
I would love to have that. I think the kids would really love to have somebody come behind, interview them about what they're doing. We don't have enough of that yet, and I think that's really an important part. I think the kids will have a blast doing that.
I have no doubt that, you know, that this is something that's going to garner attention by the local press and by local schools and students and parents, because once you see it and you look at it and it's so simple and you realize this is something your child is going to enjoy doing, you can't not get behind it. I mean, I just immediately was like, what can I do for you? How can we grow this thing? So you got me and you got Molly, and I think now you got the Brooklyn Cafe TV team too.
Well, we're so lucky to have you and appreciate what you're doing to help us spread the news, because it's I think it matters to kids, and it is a cathartic experience for them to go through that process of making a short film and then sharing it with other kids and telling their side of the story as to how they see a situation or a subject.
And just real quick, too, what's your background? What made you get involved in this? I know you have a master's degree, I believe, and I know you were involved in education, but tell everybody a little bit about what your background is so they can understand who you are and why you want to do this.
Well, after 20 years in manufacturing, water jets and abrasive water jet cutting and lasers, I sold my company and followed a childhood dream. Mm-hmm. I went out to Bozeman, Montana, and enrolled in Montana State University and got myself an MFA in Science and Natural History Filmmaking. Great 5 years of my life getting to chase animals of Yellowstone around with a camera. It was just fantastic up in the mountains.
It's unbelievable. I mean, that's such an amazing story.
Well, I grew up watching Marlon Perkins and Jacques Cousteau as a child and thought, what a wonderful life that could be, but my life dictated business before that. But once my kids got old enough and went away to college, it was time for Dad to follow his childhood dream, and that's sold the companies and went to school and got an MFA in Science and Natural History Film.
That's so cool. And now you're inspiring kids to make their own documentaries.
I found it so much fun going in and making the 3 films that I had to make while going through the program out in Montana. Getting to talk to the scientists that discovered induced pluripotent stem cells, the ones from your skin that they can turn back into any cell in your body. It was just fascinating. Mm-hmm. And I thought, what if kids could have that same opportunity? It's really, and then watching them do it. And watching the kids go to the NIH in D.C. and talk to them.
I was just going to bring up that story because when he said cathartic to me, my next question for you is going to be, I know that we've discussed this personally before, and you've said this has helped you grow as a person. You know, and I'm sure it's not only cathartic for the kids, but for you as well. And that National Institutes of Health piece, that was a great piece. We only have about a minute left. Just tell everybody your website again.
The website is ourrockproject.org.
ourrockproject.org.
Yep.
That's perfect.
It's all about sharing our rock.
That's amazing, sharing our planet.
Yes.
You've been an amazing guest, amazing history. What you're doing in our local community is unbelievable, and I look forward to continuing the conversation. And everybody tune in to the Brooklyn Cafe TV. He's going to be on 1 o'clock on Tuesday, correct?
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, Karen, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it and all your help.
Thank you. And connect with us on social media. Keep watching. Stay tuned. Lots more to come.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Talk Legal with Jeff Van Treese. Tune in. This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production.